Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the third general membership meeting for Local 770 for 2025. We're going to give folks a moment to join. I see we have a lot of people just coming in right now. So we're going to give folks a minute or two to join into the call. I see people flowing in. We do have translation available tonight on our call. There's a little globe at the bottom of your screen. So if you want to hear the meeting in English, I mean, you probably already hear it in English, but you should choose English. And if you want to hear the meeting in Spanish, you can choose Spanish. Tenemos traducción o interpretación a español por la Junta. Esta noche puede escoger español. Abajo de la pantalla hay un globito donde puede escoger español. Hopefully that was okay. Okay, welcome everybody. We are going to be getting started in just a minute or two as we wait for folks to join. There are a lot of people still filtering into the call. Again, this is Local 770's third general membership meeting for 2025. We have a question and answer box also at the bottom of the screen. Or it says Q&A, and then there's like a box with a question mark in it. If you do have questions, you can add them in the question and answer box. It works a lot better than the chat because we can follow it and make sure that we get to as many questions as possible. So let's see, it's 6:02. I can still see a lot of people still filtering in, but I think that we will we'll jump in. So again, welcome to the third general membership meeting of 2025. We have, I'm just going to say these things again, we have translation available. So if folks are going to hear the meeting in English, you can click on the globe at the bottom of the screen and choose English. And for those who want to hear the meeting in Spanish, can click the globe and choose Spanish. Tenemos traducción o interpretación de la Junta esta noche. Si quiere oír la Junta en español, puede escoger español. Abajo de la pantalla hay un globito donde puede escoger español. Okay. And again, there's a question and answer box at the bottom of the screen. If folks want to ask a question, please put it in the question and answer box. It makes it easier for us to follow. And we have folks in the meeting who will be monitoring that and answering questions as we go along. At the end of the meeting, we will also take questions if people want to ask a question live. Okay, so so far this year, out of the initial 8 or 8.5 months this year, we've had a really busy year that has included a number of big wins as well as some challenges, and we got most of our directors on here today to talk about all of those. I'm just going to give a bit of a summary. Back in July, we settled our largest contracts with Ralphs, Vons, and Albertsons, with very successfully, with just about the best contract that we've ever gotten for our grocery members. It had enormous wins in it, including new language around staffing, which we will be moving to enforce, as well as language around self-checkout machines, language around immigration. So a lot of new language in the contract, in addition to wage increases for folks at the top rate, of $3.70 for food clerks, meat cutters, and meat clerks and GM clerks with less than 8 years, an increase of $4.95 for GM clerks and meat clerks with more than 8 years, additional money for our department heads, step up. So additional increases for folks in the progressions. They got to step up an extra step to get to the top rate quicker and to get an immediate increase. I know we are facing some challenges with our employers implementing those increases. Unfortunately, I think the worst one is Ralph's, but I know we have members in all grocery companies that are having some challenges with the increases. We are going to be providing a link for people to enter their information for us to continue to do research about every single person out there so that we can ensure that everybody gets their correct retroactive pay back to March and their correct increase. So we got folks in our contract compliance department working on that. And we will be providing a link for people to provide us information regarding that. So in addition to, we have a lot of other bargaining still going on that hasn't finished, which you're going to hear about. But in addition to big wins in the last quarter, we've also been facing some very big challenges. Probably the biggest of which has been, ICE and immigration raids that have been happening throughout California. They have been greatly impacting our members in various communities. And, that's why it was very important that we got some immigration language in our contracts to ensure that ICE would not be invited in to private areas or the non-public areas of our work environment or of your work environments. But many of our members have been, and their families and their communities have been greatly impacted negatively by these raids. There are a lot of places where the customer counts have gone way down because people are staying home out of fear. We have had some members detained unlawfully. In fact, some of our members who are U.S. citizens have been wrongfully detained, as have, hundreds of other people been picked up off the street and detained regardless of their status. CHIRLA, an organization that we work very closely with that has helped us with our immigration clinics and Know Your Rights clinics and things like that, actually had a lawsuit. Folks may have heard about this in the news just very recently, where they actually won an injunction that stopped ICE from doing these sort of random raids without probable cause, or their only cause that they were going by is the color of someone's skin or the language that they spoke. And ICE was picking people up just on that basis. CHIRLA challenged that and initially won. And then the Supreme Court, I think just yesterday or the day before, overturned that, which is really kind of horrible because now the administration is saying they are going to, come back to LA and everywhere else with a vengeance. And they are saying that they don't need any other information other than that someone looks brown and speaks Spanish or is in a low-wage job to assume that they are undocumented and fair game to pick up, handcuff, take away to detention for no other reason. And they will pick people up now and ask questions later. And this is a huge assault on working people and is frankly an intimidation tactic and an attack on our communities, which we have been fighting back against, both with CHIRLA as well as other things we've participated in rapid response. to try to support support our communities and our members. People may have also heard, and I'm just going to mention this real quickly because probably it's going to be talked about by Isabel in the political report, but about how the current administration is also trying to ensure that they continue to stay in power by redistricting to increase the number of Republican seats in the next election. And in response, obviously, California is trying to stop their power grab by doing some redistricting of our own. I'm sure Isabel's going to talk a bit about that because it's very important that we ensure that we stop this illegal power grab of the administration by fighting fire with fire. And then one other thing I wanted to mention, just because it's just come up this week, is something is going through the California legislature right now where they are trying to change the ratio in our pharmacies. So the pharmacists that we represent, who we are just starting a campaign for, they have a contract that expires next year, and we are just kicking off that campaign. And as we're kicking off that campaign, going through the state legislature in California is a bill to reauthorize kind of the pharmacy board and the whole kind of structure of pharmacy legislation, but it now includes a ratio of 1 pharmacist to every 3 technicians, which is a huge change from the current 1 technician to 1 pharmacist ratio that exists in the law. And this is something that's just been sprung upon us recently. So we did send out some information to our pharmacist members today about that and are asking them to reach out to their assembly member to let them know how that is going to affect both their working conditions, but it also affects patient care. It's just difficult for a pharmacist to supervise 3 techs at one time and still provide adequate care to our members, to their patients. So that's just briefly some of the challenges that we're facing right now. There's obviously a lot going on, and we have some more campaign reports from our directors. So I am going to introduce them one by one to give updates about the areas that they are working on. And first, we are going to go where I am today and was today all day in Kaiser bargaining. A lot is going on there. The national agreement expires at the end of this month, so we're getting very close to crunch time. And I'm going to call on Ron to give an update about what's been happening here.
Thank you, Kathy. So hi all. So we've been continuing to bargain with Kaiser since May with our national and local agreements with our pharmacy, our clinical lab scientists, and both Kern and Bakersfield contracts. So in the local tables, very minimal progress has been made, but we've escalated these topics to the national table. So that's why we're here at the national bargaining. And we've been actually negotiating with all of our tables here because we've escalated these issues over here because minimal progress has been made. But since our last sessions, they've assigned labor relations designees as well as alliance leadership has come to our tables. And we've also managed to have federal mediators come to the table, which has made us have some type of progress at the table. In Kern, we've had the alliance directors be guests at those tables as well. In our CLS, we had the labor relations person sit at our tables. And currently we have our federal mediator at our CLS and at our pharmacy tables, assisting us in getting progress done. We do have some tentative agreements made, but of course, we're still waiting on some economic issues. So nothing in concrete has been made, finalized yet. So we're still struggling, trying to get a deal, but our members are still remaining strong. We presented all of our members' interests and proposals to the company, and we're working on getting some proposal agreements, hopefully tentatively agreed soon. We've been making, like I said, very minimal movement on all tables, and our members have been very strong and very vocal on all of the things that we're fighting for. So we've launched an online petition. So hopefully our Kaiser members have been getting the petition signed. I know some of our members, our stewards, are working very hard on getting these petitions signed. So please, if you have not signed your petition, I encourage you to sign it. We've been working with our organizing team. They've been helping us on getting some work done, especially in Kern, and they're going to be working their way down, but we want to thank them for their hard efforts on helping Kern. They've established the CAT teams out there, which have done an amazing job, as well with our Spurs, with Marquise and Nicole. They've done an incredible job out there. They did establish a great team of CAT team leaders. They had their first meeting. And with that, they organized a group of people, a group of CAT team members to come to an event that we had on August 1st at the Kaiser West LA Medical Center, where they came to support UNAC workers, as well as the West LA members that were there. There was an action that was done not too long ago on August 1st, and we had some UFCW presence on helping with solidarity with a UNAC, an informational picket that they've had. So it was really good to see current workers coming all the way down to show solidarity and the movement that they had. But even with that, we also had our national bargaining last August, the 5th through the 8th, where, you know, little minimal progress was done on the national table. So that's why we're here this week, which they added another session. So we're still struggling. The majority of those tables have been kind of pretty much, we have some tentative agreements. We're now just focusing on staffing now. Very minimal progress has been made from management. And so we're hopeful that, you know, we'll have some type of movement from management. There was very good testimonies from our members, from our UFCW members that were given there, that are CIC members, which is Common Interest Committee members. And so we're looking to see, we have asked some members to come and attend as observers. So I know that we had sent out some messages to seeing if you're able to come and attend to be an observer. If you're off, we ask you if you can come and attend. We're here this week. So be on the lookout if you're able to sign up on the RSVP list, and we'll be able to get you in. But we're currently right now in negotiations with the CLS table. Actually, all tables are here this week. So we'll be giving an update later on this week. But we're focusing a lot, especially right now, on the economic issues. We're waiting on Kaiser to give us an economic proposal. I know we shared back and forth all the economic proposals that the company has given us. Obviously, we're not settling with what they're offering, but we do need the support. And so we're going to be asking and partnering up with all the alliance unions, as well as a current action that's going to be taking place. And I'm going to see if I can post this up or share my screen. Currently, UNAC is going to be taking an action with Kaiser members that are doing the People Pulse. So let me see if I can share my screen real quick. So UNAC has asked us to skip the survey to send a message where no progress, no pulse. So People Pulse is something important for Kaiser. And so we are banding, all UFCWs are banding together with the Alliance as well as UNAC to boycott the People Pulse. And so this message is going to most likely be going out tomorrow to all of our Kaiser members to boycott the People Pulse. This is something that's very important to Kaiser. And so we want to send a clear message to them that if they're not going to make any progress, we're not going to do the People Pulse. So we're encouraging everyone to boycott the People Pulse just to send a clear message to Kaiser. So be on the lookout with this message that's coming out soon. And but in the meantime, be on the lookout, like I said, again, on your emails and text messages that this will be going out. We also want, let's see if I can stop sharing my screen here. We do have some new news. We do have a new labor liaison. We want to welcome Gerard Matarazzo from Woodland Hills. He has now taken a new role as our new UFCW 770 labor liaison. He started out this week, and so he will eventually be going out to almost all areas. And so hopefully soon you'll be seeing Gerard. He came from the Woodland Hills Inpatient Pharmacy and will be assisting us in the field. And so once again, we're out here in national bargaining. I think we sent out a message to see if you're able to attend as an observer. So if you have any questions, please reach out to the rep or any Marquise or any of the Spurs to see how you can reach out to sign up to come out. And that is my report.
Thanks, Ron. Yeah, so we're here downtown LA at the Intercontinental Hotel. So when anybody who wants to come over, bargaining is open. You can participate or you can watch at least what's happening, and all tables are happening here this week. So there's going to be Kern Main, Kern Admin, Pharmacy, CLS, and National Bargaining all happening here. And I've been here all day. Ron's been here all day. Yeah, just to reiterate what Ron said, it's a real challenge to get anything out of this company, to get anything out of Kaiser, to get them to move on the economics. But we are pushing, and we're getting close to the deadline of when this needs to get done. So now is the time to stick together. Next, I'm going to call on Matt, who is probably kind of sort of doing double or maybe triple duty here to talk about cannabis research collective bargaining, but also Matt is leading the Kern main and Kern admin tables for Kaiser, so which are going to be taking place here tomorrow as well. But I'm going to turn it over to Matt to give his report on that multitude of things.
Thanks, Kathy. And good evening, everybody. As Kathy mentioned, I'm Matt O'Malley. I am the Locals Director of Collective Bargaining and Research. And I do want to I won't say too much more about Kaiser because I don't want it to completely hijack the meeting here, but I want to send a shout out to our 7 rank and file members from Kaiser and Kern who have either made or are in the process of making the journey down from Bakersfield to be here in person for bargaining that will begin tomorrow at 9 a.m. Echo Park Room of the Intercontinental on the 5th floor. And as Ron had mentioned too, we will be meeting with Kaiser under the auspices of a federal mediator, Isael Hermosillo, in the hopes of trying to break out of this logjam here of stalling and lack of progress at that table. So we will be bargaining all day tomorrow, all day Thursday. And as Kathy and Ron had mentioned, the national agreement expires at the end of the month. So we're hopeful that now that we're down to crunch time, we'll start to see some movement on the proposals, the very reasonable proposals that we have put forward at the Kaiser admin and Kern bargaining tables. So since we last met with the general membership, we have had 2 other contracts that we've ratified. We ratified a new 3-year agreement for the administrative staff of our drug trust, and you know, it was under a bit of a challenging environment in the sense that with the complete bankruptcy and closure of Rite Aid, that trust has sort of found itself in a bit of financial limbo. But in spite of that, we were able to negotiate a very good contract, raises of 10% in year 1, 5% in years 2 and 3. We were able to put additional money into the 401k, as well as secure another floating holiday for those members. So in spite of the difficult circumstances, we actually negotiated a very, very good contract for those members. In addition, on the cannabis front, we negotiated a new 3-year agreement for Liberty Beach, which provides for wage increases, the continuation of excellent health insurance through the Western Alliance Trust Fund, as well as some other benefits for those members, including an increase in the member discount. We have ongoing negotiations with Ralph Santa Cruz Markets, which is based, despite its name, in Santa Barbara. It is a small regional two-store grocery chain, and we will be meeting with them on the 17th of September for, I believe, our fourth session with the company, where they owe us a response on the number of proposals that we put on the table to improve the standards and bring them into line with the standards we have established with the major food agreement. The company has agreed to retain those members in the food trust, which is good, so that at least ensures that everyone who works there that's in the bargaining unit will continue to have the food trust health and welfare. But we still have a number of outstanding issues, primarily economic issues on the table there that are going to be quite challenging to resolve. At Cornerstone, we met several times with that employer as well. That is a small standalone cannabis dispensary located in Eagle Rock. That company has actually come to us and requested an extension of their agreement for 1 year. We responded that we might be open to a 1-year extension of the agreement, provided they do two things. They give our members across the board increases, and they also commit to providing us with a minimum of 60 days notice in the event that the dispensary, which is struggling financially, is going to be either put up for sale or a pending sale has been negotiated, or if they just intend to close outright. We have had several closures of dispensaries that we represented over the last year plus, and we're hopeful that Cornerstone will not sort of follow that primrose path. But it's a fairly dire situation there and at many other cannabis dispensaries. And then lastly, we have reconvened, or at least scheduled a reconvening of negotiations for our members at MedMen, which operates 3 dispensaries in Local 770's jurisdiction. That agreement had expired on December 31st of 2024, and that employer, having just undergone an ownership change and reorganization, had requested an extension agreement. But as of September, we have some movement there and a date on the calendar set for September 16th. So that is what's going on cannabis and the collective bargaining front. And I will turn it back over to Kathy for the next report. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, so next, we're going to hear about comms from Colin. Just to say, appreciate all the work comms has been doing to really put out information and get a lot of media attention for the campaigns we have been working on. So I'm going to turn it over to Colin to give us a little review of that stuff.
Awesome. Thank you, Kathy. Our comms team has continued to build on the momentum across all of our channels. We saw strong growth in earned media, social media, and digital engagement over the course of this year. Earned media, which is PR from news outlets that we don't pay for, we had 314 mentions, 357 million in audience reach, and $7.8 million in publicity value, which brings our yearly total to nearly $32 million in earned media. And this is great because it's stuff we don't pay for. It's picked up by the news, and it's amplifying the message that we need to get out about the great work you all are doing and what you're fighting for. Similarly, in social media, video views went up. We hit 128,000 as of up to the end of last month. That's up over 504% from the previous month. Digital delivery, which includes like our website and email, we saw 86,000 website views. Our emails or open rates are growing. We have 44,000 subscribers to our newsletter. And so all of these things are going up as we try and increase the way we push out our message and push out what you're fighting for. Coming up in August and beyond, we're still working with Kaiser, supporting their bargaining team as they negotiate the local and national contracts. And we've been amplifying their message and trying to get as many members' photos and videos out in front of people so they can hear what's going on. Grocery pharmacy is coming up. We're going to be launching a dedicated webpage for that campaign for the pharmacist, which will have resources for them as well as updates. We're also working to collect worker stories on short staffing and mental health to amplify those issues that they're facing. We're going to be working on a new member orientation that'll be probably not until coming out until next year, but to try and educate people as they come in to the union on what it means to be a union member and how they can be involved and the importance of themselves being involved. Finally, we did have to say goodbye to our Spur James Pete and our UCSB labor intern, Leanne Metzger, who helped us through the Grocery Worker Rising campaign. If you saw a lot of great pictures and videos and graphics that they were helping to work on those, key to get those getting out and being done. So we really appreciate all the work that they did. We're also excited to welcome our new Spur, Joyce Roberson. She's been a leader within our union for years in the drug division. She has media skills and videography skills and great storytelling skills that will be key to kind of some of the work we're doing in the next few months. So we're very happy to have her on. Thank you.
Thanks, Colin. Next, we've also had a lot happening in our packing house division where we represent members who do food processing, or not just food processing, rendering, and actually some folks who work at Restaurant Depot as well that Jesus represents. And I'm going to turn it over to Jesus to give us a report about what's happening in that division.
Thank you, Kathy. Good afternoon or good evening, everyone. Pleased to announce that our members at Baker Commodities unanimously ratified a 3-year agreement last week. The deal includes a $4 pay increase over the life of the contract. Just as important, the company agreed to increase contributions to both medical and pension plans. This ensures that our members continue to see no out-of-pocket premiums for their health insurance and continue to see growth in their pension. As part of the agreement, we also reached a settlement with the company regarding several outstanding grievances that we're going to go to arbitration. The agreement includes red circling the affected members and placing them at higher wages than they were currently earning. We're also in negotiations currently with Darling, a rendering plant. So far, we've made progress on contract language improvements that benefit our members, and we're currently focused on securing higher wages. Negotiations also continue at Overhill Farms. Our last 2 sessions were very productive. We've made significant progress on key issues, such as immigration language and overtime breaks. We're scheduled to meet again with the company on the 17th of this month, and we're hopeful we can reach a fair agreement soon. Lastly, we continue to represent our members at Restaurant Depot locations. Just today, Restaurant Depot Torrance members rejected the company's latest wage proposal. Our members are telling the company that they're not going to settle for any unfair pay increase. So we will wait now for the company to give us their next proposal. But that's it for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Jesus. And next we're going to hear from Mara Cruz, our Field and Organizing Director.
Thank you, Kathy. Good evening, everyone. Buenas tardes. I am Maricruz Ceseña, Organizing Director at Local 770. And I wanted to share just how over the last several years, we've had a focus on really honing in on organizing both internal and external, but particularly internally with our existing membership, to make sure that we're building the power that we need to get those better contracts that then results in being able to get more workers to join the union, right, and build up union density. This process of rebuilding and growing our strength has been quite like a journey, and it has involved our new restructuring of the field. So all of you have probably already been experienced with this, but you all should know that you have now contract enforcers and leadership development organizers on staff. We've shifted people's responsibilities and duties. And so our leadership development organizers have really been focused on identifying leaders and making sure that they're building contract action teams and just the type of engagement and activity that really really results in these major wins, right? Like what Kathy talked about, Matt, Jesus, with more improved contracts and higher engagement of the membership. And then our contract enforcement department, along with the contract compliance department, make sure that any of the gains that are made in these contracts aren't just lost, right? That people continue to be involved and that the contract is defended and enforced. And so this shift and change to doing both leadership development organizing and contract enforcement together has led to some huge wins. And so I know Kathy mentioned we are coming off of the major food agreement victory, but I wanted to highlight a couple of things that came from that, right? Because of this shift and focus on internal organizing and leadership development, we were able to see a lot of different activities that happened that led to building power, right? So this was only the second time that Local 770 had a bargaining committee as part of negotiations. So that means that all grocery stores had some sort of representation at the table, right? Members like yourself were there to advocate and make sure that your needs were met. And it never results in a perfect contract, right? But it's much better than what has been done in the past. And this wouldn't have been possible without members like you coming out to area meetings. We had over 60% of members sign on to the bargaining petition that happened at the beginning of the year. More than 500 members got involved as contract action team members. So more than 500 members for the first time were activated in making sure that they were, fighting for that contract and making sure that your coworkers were also engaged. That led to more than half of the grocery stores out there having delegations where workers went in groups to, turn in petitions to management and show and demonstrate publicly that power was growing. We also had customer engagement actions where, again, workers like yourselves and the leaders in those stores made sure that they were out there talking to customers, engaging them around the long lines, and it was information that was able to go back to the bargaining table. If you all remember some of the updates from the general member calls about the contract, the company tried to say that the stories bargaining committee members were delivering at the table were purely anecdotal, and you all turned it around and went directly to the customers and came back with facts and data about how long people are waiting in line and how understaffed the stores were. So that was huge. There were over 70 stores that participated in those engagement actions that led to staffing language that we got in the contract. And then you all demonstrated publicly through those practice strikes that you were ready to go. And so none of the gains would have happened without this type of engagement. And as we shift forward, as we move into the next phase, we want to make sure that people realize, like, the leadership development is not over. Leadership development is now spreading into all of the shops, right? So whether you're in a grocery store, retail, drugstore, any division out there, as soon as a contract campaign is won, then we shift into contract enforcement. So contract action teams just become contract enforcement teams, and we use that same language that was won to show that you're not letting up and that you're not having to rebuild every 3 years for a new contract. That is the shift that we are going to be having moving forward, and we're going to make sure that this continues to stay. So again, there is a focus on organizing and making sure that all members are activated that way, and we go sort of back to basics on that. And that leads me to an invitation to any member out there that wants to be part of a training program for Skills to Win. Many of you might remember if you were part of one of the steward conferences, or you've heard about Jane McAlevey and Skills to Win. It's been a great course that new Spurs take, all organizers, all staff really has gone through Skills to Win. It's a focus on organizing, building up power in the shops. And so all of our Spurs have taken it, anyone who comes out. So if anyone is interested, I think Jen put a link in the chat to an interest form so that you can register. This is going to be happening on Thursdays in October, starting October 9th, and it goes through 6 weeks. It's a 2-hour commitment on Thursdays, so I realize not everyone is available. There will be other opportunities that are more flexible. but for this one, if you are available Thursdays, starting October 9th, through the 6-week project, please fill out the form so that we can reach out to you. Leadership development organizers will be facilitating, along with contract enforcers, will be facilitating these courses so that we can use that to do some really major contract enforcement. And with that, I will conclude my report and pass it back to Kathy.
Thanks, Maricruz. So our last report is going to be political, as I mentioned at the beginning. There's a lot going on in politics. I highlighted a couple of things, but I am going to introduce Isabel to give us the full breakdown of what's going on in politics.
Thanks so much, Kathy. Hi, everyone. So this month, the political department is going to be reporting on Proposition 50. Proposition 50 is an election that we are having on November 4th. So as you all have heard on this call and have witnessed with your own eyes, we've been seeing a lot of devastation in our communities over the past 6 to 8 months. We've seen higher prices. We were told the prices would go down. We've seen people be kicked off of their healthcare. And then, of course, what is front and center in our minds here in California are the ICE raids and the deploying of military against our own communities. So we all, I know, want to fight back against a lot of these horrors that we've been seeing. I want to tell you that MAGA Republicans in Texas wanted to make sure that we had no input on how the next 3 years go. So as you all know, we have a regularly scheduled election in 2026. They wanted to rig their maps quietly, no voter input, didn't take it anywhere. They just quietly redrew their congressional lines to make sure that they had 5 extra seats in the state of Texas. So we in California are fighting back against that. We are going to have a special election on November 4th where you all can weigh in on congressional maps here in California. We need to do this to be able to fight back against some of the horrible things that have already happened and the horrible things they are promising. We're hearing that if they are successful in this endeavor to redraw maps in Texas and many other states, and hold control of Congress, that they will make it a right to work country, that we will lose our right to have a union here in California, and that will be devastating to us in the union world. So I wanted to go to the next slide and talk about some of the things that Prop 50 will do, and why we are recommending that you all make it out to the polls, fill out your mail-in ballot, and vote yes on Prop 50. So Prop 50 levels the playing field by eliminating an unfair advantage. So as you all know, we already had an election in 2026. We wanted to be able to flip the control of Congress to have checks and balances. This play by Texas was going to give the unfair advantage to Republican seats, and we want to make sure that we have a level playing field. This commits to fair redistricting. We have an independent redistricting commission here in California. We are calling on all other states to implement that as well. We want to give voters the power to approve emergency congressional maps. We want for Prop 50 is calling for fair and proportional a fight back, because this is only moving forward if Texas and the other states put their maps forward. If they withdraw and say, never mind, we're going to keep our census drawn maps, Prop 50 is off the table. We don't need to go to the polls on November 4th. It's all over. But we're tired of just letting other states control the narrative. California, we have the most power. We need to exercise it. And then finally, Prop 50 is temporary. So these newly redrawn maps that are for an emergency basis will only last until 2030. And then we will go back to our award-winning, impartial, nonpartisan redistricting commission that will draw our maps based on the census. So those are some of the things I wanted you all to know this, because I know mail is already flooding into our mailboxes, calls are happening, texts are happening. So anything you're hearing about Prop 50, we are asking you all to make it out to the polls and vote yes on Proposition 50 on November 4th. Finally, how you can help. We, number one, need you to vote, and number two, need you to volunteer. So if you are interested, if you're like, I've been waiting for the perfect time to jump in and fight back against some of the horrible stuff that we've been seeing, this is your time. We would love for you to volunteer, to talk to other union voters. We have a program going through the Los Angeles Labor Federation in September and October. It's a short timeline, so it's not a huge commitment. You can even phone bank from home. If you want to phone bank from home, we can set you up to do that. If you'd rather come see other union members and be able to talk to people door to door or phone bank in person, we can fill you in, let you do that from the LA Fed. And many of us from 770 staff will also be out there. I will be out there. So we would love to have you come volunteer and plug in. If you are interested in that, please email me. My email is right there on the screen, or go ahead and let any of the organizers know, and then they can also connect you with me as well. That concludes my report. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Isabel. And this is really a very, very important issue. I know I've been getting, like Isabel said, to mail in my box. I got something saying, you know, gerrymandering's wrong no matter who's doing it. And so they're putting forth a lot of like campaign slogans that seem like, you know, they might have some truth to it, but the reality is that Texas and other states have already done it. And so while it may be like people don't like gerrymandering, it's like if we let other folks do it and there's no fight back, we are basically giving up our ability to you know, to fight and to ensure that our voices are heard. California is the biggest state in the country and should have the most say in what happens. But unfortunately, we don't always have that, because even though we're the biggest state, smaller states actually, their voters have more say in what happens, because smaller states are overly represented in comparison to big states. So unfortunately, a lot of California's power has been taken away and through these kind of power grab things. And so this is the only way for us to claim our voice and to claim our you know, our advantage as the largest state. And you know, there's a lot of you know, power grab things going on, and if we don't fight back, we may never have another opportunity. So it's kind of scary, and so hopefully folks get involved. We'll be doing a lot of precinct walking and calling, and I hope to see you out there. I'll be out there, and I hope to see a lot of folks come and join. Okay, now it is time for the part of the agenda where we have our reports that need to be voted on by the members. So first, the first order of business would be to approve the minutes of the meeting, the last meeting, which was June. And what we do when we have them on Zoom is the meetings are recorded, as this meeting is being recorded, and then they are put on our website so folks can see them and, you know, make sure it's an accurate recording. Obviously, it's recorded. It's actually better than minutes. But so we're actually approving the minutes, quote unquote, the minutes. It's the recording of June. And as has been the practice, rather than listen to the entire June meeting again, we're going to waive the reading of the minutes for the June meeting. And I would entertain a motion to approve those. So if somebody wants to make the motion, they can raise their hand, or any one of the participants. I see somebody. Oh, it looks like Mark, who's raised her hand. So is that the motion? And then if there's a second. Oh, I see actually Cynthia Ayala, Erica Benson, Angela Brooks, Leilani Koki, and those ones all raised their hands. So we have a motion and we have a number of seconds. Oh, Jaime Coronado also. Thank you for all the motions and seconds. Appreciate that. And now we're going to vote on it. The poll is up. If you approve the minutes for the June meeting recording, please indicate by marking yes on your screen. Those on the phone, I don't think can vote, but we only have a few on the phone. Most people are on the Zoom. So please mark yes on your screen if you approve, or no if you don't approve of the minutes for the June meeting. All those in favor mark yes. Any opposed mark no. Okay, do we have the results? The results are 100% of people voted yes. 51 out of 51. Okay, so we can move on to the next one, which is the trustees report. So I have that open here. Let's see. Oh, that's not it. Wait. Hang on one second. Okay. This is the trustees report for the first 6 months of the year from January 1, 2025 to June 30th, 2025. So during the first 6 months of the year, we started with a beginning balance of 16,432,792. We had revenue or income in the amount of 12,314,349. That is made up of dues income, fees and assessments, some rental income, investment income on our investments, and a small amount of other. Then we had expenses in the amount of 12,136,346, which is made up of per capita tax. That's the amount of money that we pay to organizations we're affiliated with, primarily the International Union, as well as the County Federation, State Federation, our Superfund, and some other organizations that we work together with. Operating expenses and salaries, rent expenses for the offices that we rent, professional fees for example, our attorneys and accountants that we use, organizing and negotiation expenses, some hardship expenses, and a small amount of other disbursements. We are also due some money from the trust funds of $341,762. For the first 6 months of the year, we ended in the positive with income of $519,765 for a new ending balance of $16,952,557. Do we have and I'll just go through the cash balance. We had a cash balance at the beginning of the year of $948,093. And we now have a cash balance of $1,099,459. Our total assets are $20,295,580. Our total liabilities are $3,343,023 for a fund balance of, as I already said, $16,952,557. So that is the trustees report. Is there a motion to accept? Okay, I see a motion by Angela Brooks. Is there a second? I see a second by Cynthia Ayala, Gerald Gates, David Hanna, Jaime Coronado, and Erica Benson. So we have a lot of seconds. So we will go ahead and vote. If you approve the trustees report, you should mark yes. If you do not approve, mark no on your screen. Again, to approve the trustees report as I read it, mark yes. To disapprove, not approve, you can mark no. We'll give folks another 10 seconds to vote. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. The results, please. Again, it was accepted unanimously. 59 out of 59 folks who voted yes. Next, we have the investment report for the month of July. So these are the investment transactions. As I mentioned in the trustees report, we have some investments and we have, earned some money on those. So I'm just going to go through the summary of our investments for the month of July. So the fair market value of our investments as of the end of July was $10,937,238. That's made up of some money market funds, government and agency securities, corporate debt securities, exchange traded funds and mutual funds, and some common stock, as well as real estate. During the month of July, we earned interest and dividend income from our money market fund of $838, from the government and agency securities of $3,722, from the corporate debt securities of $13,058, in common stock, $2,655, and mutual funds, $4,157, for a total income in that month of $24,430. We sold some government and agency securities and common stock and had a realized gain of $3,895. The stocks and securities that we sold were a total of $51,776. And then we purchased some other stocks in the amount of $12,532. So that's a summary of all of our investment transactions for the month. Is there a motion to approve those? I see Gerald Gates made a motion, and I see it seconded by Erica Benson and Mickey Ebers, and Cynthia Ayala, and Angela Brooks. Thank you very much. So it's been moved and seconded by multiple people. Can we put up the vote to approve the investment transactions for the month of July? We'll give folks vote yes if you approve the investment transactions, vote no if you disapprove. And let's tabulate the votes. There was 51 people voted, 98% approved, 50 out of 51, one person voted no. So it passes. And then we have one more report. This one doesn't need approval. This is just for folks' information only. This is the membership report for the month of August. So, and someone had asked this question earlier in the Q&A, and I said I would get to it. And I'll go through each division, but we're down a lot of members. I think folks know that Rite Aid had declared bankruptcy for the second time some months ago, but the second time in 2 years. Going through bankruptcy. The first one was a reorganization where they were trying to continue to operate, but they have been closing a number of stores. But then in this most recent bankruptcy that was declared some months ago, this was a complete liquidation of the company. And as of now, I believe all of our Rite Aid stores have now closed. So we've lost a lot of members. We lost a lot of members in June. All this year, we've been losing a lot of members, but June, July, and August. So as I go through, you'll see that we've lost a lot of members as a result. So in our food division, in the month of July, we had 18,615 members, which was a loss of 106 members. The drug division, we have now 3,920 members, which was a loss of 417 members in the month of August. We lost probably a similar amount in July and others in June. So in total, we've, over the course of these two bankruptcies, have lost probably close to 2,000 members overall. So somebody was asking about that. So that's the number of people that initially lost their jobs. Many have been rehired, by CVS, by our Ralphs that have pharmacies, our Vons and Albertsons that have, and Pavilions that have pharmacies inside. So a number of them have actually come back and are still members. A number have retired, and a number have probably found jobs elsewhere, or we've had assistance in ensuring that they have support, including helping them with unemployment and things like that. In our professional division, which includes our pharmacists, we currently have 1,428 members. That's a loss of 94. That is also related to Rite Aid. So we, in addition to clerks and pharmacy techs, we lost a lot of pharmacists, many of whom also were rehired at some of our other union pharmacies. We had no change in our barber and beauty culturists membership numbers. Meat cutters, we have 1,613, which is a gain of 8 new members. In meat packing, we have 445, which is a loss of 1 member. In cannabis, we currently have 449 members, which was a gain of 24 in the month of July, for a total of 26,483 members. That was a loss of 586 members. We don't, that's an FYI report, for your information report, not one that has to be voted on. So we're down to the point of the meeting where we can take questions. We've been answering questions all along in the Q&A. I don't know if there are any that anybody's answered that we would also like to do live, or if folks have questions that they want to ask live, we would welcome you on. I see Kelly. Let me see if we can we let Kelly in to ask her question?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi Kelly, we can hear you now.
I want to tell you guys, thank you. I got a check from you guys today.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, I want to tell you guys, thank you for the check.
Okay, was it from, you got a check from the union, or you mean you got like your retro check from the company?
Can I show, what, I got it today in the mail today.
Okay.
Yeah, it's from,
Oh, it was the ADR check, the alternative.
yeah, that one.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, so
Yeah, I
that's,
want to tell you guys, thank you.
oh, okay, you're welcome. You're very,
Yeah, you guys did a good job with me, my family. I lost my house.
oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for helping me.
Oh, okay, well, you're welcome. I'm glad that,
Okay,
I'm glad that we were able to help. Thanks for coming on, Kelly.
okay.
Okay. So the check that she received, just so I could explain to folks, is the Alternative Dispute Resolution Program that we have with Vons. So Kelly must be a Vons member, which is related to the workers' comp. It's something we negotiated back in 2011. Only Vons participates in it as of right now. The other companies are not participating. And in that program, we resolve workers' comp cases through our own system rather than going through the state system. And those cases then get resolved much more quickly. And it also saves money, and 50% of the savings get distributed out to the members. So that's what Kelly was talking about. So thanks for bringing that up. I don't see any other questions. I don't see any other hands. And I don't see, let's see, any other in the Q&A. Can't even see the Q&A right now.
I think that there are some in the Q&A that would be followed up with one-on-one, because they're sort of individual questions.
Okay. If you didn't get your question answered, it's probably because you're asking something that's very particular to yourself, and your rep will reach out to you with an answer. So good seeing everybody out here. We have a few announcements before we go. I almost forgot the announcements. So one of them is that the next meeting, general membership meeting, let me just get to here so I have the right date, is going to be December 9th. And we will have that one in person at the LA office and the Camarillo office, which we'll then connect via Zoom. It's going to be an end-of-year celebration. We will be providing food. You can bring your families. So it will be Tuesday, December 9th at both the LA office and the Camarillo office. In-person general membership meetings, and we'll be providing food and fellowship where you can talk to other members and talk to your reps and things in person. So that's one thing. And then a second announcement we have is that this month on September 18th in the LA office, the Minority Coalition constituency group at Local 770 is going to be hosting a health fair. Can we share the flyer? We have a flyer.
The flyer is being
It's
shared
on.
right now.
Oh, it's being shared. I can't see. Sorry. Okay, so there's the flyer. It's going to be from 11 to 3. You can get vaccines and a whole bunch of other health conscious stuff. They're focusing on community care and sickle cell awareness. And there'll be all kinds of giveaways and prizes and different things like that. And we'll have all of our health providers out there, so you can ask questions. There'll be all kinds of screenings, dental, cholesterol, all kinds of stuff. Oh, and if you're in the PPO and you come out and do some of these activities, you actually can earn money in your health reimbursement account by getting the various screenings and vaccines on that day. Each one is worth either $125 or $150 in your HRA, so it helps you in your pocket. And there's also going to be yoga and plant a seed. So all kinds of good stuff at the LA office on September 18th from 11 to 3. We hope to see folks out there. Any other announcements that I missed? Okay, hearing none, we're going to sign off. Good to see everybody and hope to see you at the health fair on the 18th or in December at our in-person general membership meeting. Bye.